Alright, welcome to our second match of the day. This is against a Emblem Lin player. And here we go. We got the Malice team here. Yeah, we're gonna figure this out. This is feeling a bit claustrophobic, this defense layout here, which is, I'm assuming, the intention to make it a little bit difficult for your opponent to move around, especially if you didn't have any space in your back row. My god, this would suck. Can't imagine having to deal with it like that, but I always say, man, you really need that space in your back row. Get rid of those structures. Anything that you don't need, let it go. Which is why I was also so really happy that the summoning circle or the calling circle was not a physical building. If it was, I would not use it because I need the space. I don't know who gave them the bright idea to make it like the way that it is, so it doesn't interfere with your positioning in terms of just being a hindrance. I don't know who in IS came up with that bright idea, but kudos to you, sir. Good job. You used 100% of your brain there. And yeah, I don't mind using it just because it doesn't really impact me in the slightest in terms of being able to move around my units. Now, the big problem with this map is, I'm sure that you would have saw from one of my recent defense replays, a lot of people have, poo-pooed on the synergy between Loki and Ather. And I think it's actually perfect synergy in terms of just what they're capable to do together. They work really, really good as a team. Yes, the status effect can be removed. The assigned decoy can be removed by Loki. If you don't pair them up in the right spots, that can be a problem. If there's overlap, that can also be a problem. But I find that if someone isn't paying attention, usually it will work out in your favor. Also, what it means is that if there is overlap, it means that it'll probably force your opponent to run saves, and that means that there's probably only like 1 or 2 saves that can really actually do it in the current meta, and you're looking at Fjorm, and really no one from melee range has no counter disrupt that I can think of. So you're really looking at Fjorm, Ice Drive Fjorm, unless you turn her into a near save, which I guess is doable as well. So it doesn't like immediately ruin your strategies. It's an additional layer of complexity that if you think through it long and hard enough, you can actually come up with a way to make it work for your team. And he's done that for himself here with this defensive build. My only critique here, again, no dual unit, which is, I guess it doesn't really matter in this matchup because I don't really have any dual units myself to take advantage of that. But then also, it's really easy for me to bait the melee tanks here, the melee threats here, or at least the 2 main ones, and that's the plan. I could have done this with any unit, but currently this team is built around Malice, so that's what you're going to be seeing since she is in her bonus season. Bonus stats, big numbers, everyone goes boom. That's what she's going to be doing. It's really interesting that they released her. Like, she was such a sleeper unit on that banner that a lot of people didn't really pay attention to what she does because, I don't know, maybe the boobs and they just got distracted and was like, it's just another boobs character, whatever. Or maybe Ike, with his midriff, it was just really, the abs were too distracting for them and they just didn't realize that there were other units on the banner. But for whatever the situation was, you're dead here. Like, that's just too much. Hardy bearing Fjorm, still goated, ascended Fjorm. Whatever the situation was, a lot of people missed just what this Malice was capable of. And in the current meta that we're about to go into, that is going to be dominated by Valentine's Edelgard. She is one of the few units that can actually KO Valentine's Edelgard. So you would have more than likely missed an opportunity there to pick her up, and you're going to be regretting it for the next couple of months, unless you pulled Rhea. But then that's also like 50-50, depending on your build on Edelgard. But yeah, Malice is really, really good, and I'm going to have a ton of fun with her for this bonus season. Hopefully we get to experiment with her a ton, just see how this goes. Another great thing about his defense here is that because it's so cumbersome to get around and to get up, the trap placements are really good, the structures are really well placed. Loki has free reign of that top section there, and every time she moves, it's just a headache because the gravity, man. Gravity is a pain, and then I lose all of my status effects, and then in combination, we have to think about Ather as well, and then how do we tank what's going on here? And it's making it quite difficult for me to just figure out placements, and that's currently what I'm trying to do. But the upside is that Micaiah can't reach, so worst case scenario, I'm probably just going to run away if I can't figure something out. I would ideally like to be able to tank Micaiah with Fjorm, but armor effective damage plus special active, let us begin. I don't know, that might be too much for Micaiah to tank, so that might not be the greatest idea, especially with all of the debuffs that are currently being inflicted, and the fact that I don't have any of my status effects active, and also Ather is going to inflict a sign decoy as well, which will, I don't know who that will spread to. So yeah, let's just run away here. There's too many variables to try to calculate against to figure out exactly what's going to happen. So I'm going to take my chances I'm not going to take my chances to tank this. I'm going to run away, and then Micaiah will continue to come down because there's only one avenue for her to come down through, and that's this lane right here with the traps. And then what I'm going to do is eventually should be able to get her from melee range or something. So that's the play. Really, again, the synergy between these two units is just really good. Loki and Tree Man, it works really well together. Yes, because what's happening, I'm not 100% sure who's getting hit with the assigned decoy, because again, you can't see it, which is just another thing. Why do they make it like that? It's because it was initiated with it feels like the type of thing that should be patched. It was initiated with Soren, of course, and it's been at least 2 years, and no one realized that this is a problem. Especially when we released the unit that pretty much that's his main thing, and there's only like one other unit that can kind of inflict it. So no one realized that having the status effect visible would be a benefit. I feel like it's the only one that isn't visible. It flashes in the phase that you don't want to see it in, or that it's most beneficial to be able to see it in player phase, because if you can see it in player phase, you can probably try to figure out where it's going to go thereafter, in terms of just consistency, but you can't see where it's going, which is really annoying. I think what's happening here is that it's getting cleansed, but I got pretty far. I forgot that you were going to come out here. This makes it a little bit more difficult, because now I got one more unit, and I got to figure out where to put him. I'm kind of running out of space here. Ather came across. Time to make a profit. What's that? How did she get there? Glitter of Lights, Lin Ring. Oh man, a lot of variables. If Micaiah had Sigurd Ring, this would have been a loss, I'm pretty sure. I think leave it to us. Ather has pivot. Okay, what right. Ather has pivot. Good morning. Yeah, that is. I gotta figure out how to get away here. They're getting a little bit too close. Man. We go left. Yeah, we gotta go left. How do I get Gato to safety? Gato is a little bit exposed here. Oh, you know what? I get the extra action from the summoning circle, right? So we're gonna use that. Whoa, that's actually like Ather and Lights effects from the summoning circle. That's really actually good to have, especially since he doesn't isolate himself when he does a positional swap. So that makes him one of the key candidates to pop out for you there, especially since he also gives the dual strike, the triangle attack, so that who would actually take advantage of that on this team? Maybe Rune, I guess. Yeah, probably Rune, because he doesn't want to get hit. If he gets hit, he's usually going to be blown up, so Rune would probably be the best candidate to take advantage of that, I guess. Yeah, well, and also he has the Lin Ring, so that's definitely a really good combination there. So I actually put some thought into this team when I built it. It wasn't just slapped together, looking back at it now. But yeah, where we are is really delicate point in the meta in terms of what's going to be happening. that Valentine's banner was a tipping point. It's going to be signaling a change, and the change is Edelgard. Edelgard is going to be everywhere, all over your defense. You're always going to be seeing her. If you do not have a strategy prepared, which the only strategy that I've found so far is Rhea, you are going to lose because she one-shots pretty much everything, and if she doesn't, she will get you in the follow-up attack. So I don't know what you're going to do about it, but I've already decided that Rhea is going to be on every season, regardless of what is coming. Rhea is just going to be there as the only save that I've found so far that can actually competently tank this Valentine's Edelgard. Again, man, she is way too powerful. They did not need to release her now. They could have waited a couple more months to release an Edelgard ult to break the game, as one would put it. It could have been someone else. Really, really and truly could have been someone else with a little bit less power would have been acceptable. But this Edelgard ult is very, you would have seen in the last defense replay that she was literally all over the place. We get to take out these units now, and it's pretty much GG's from here. Neathauger shouldn't be a problem with Malice doing a ton of damage, so we should be fine. Yeah, the last couple replays from my last defense replays video, what it was people just summoned for Edelgard and then closed out the rest of the week for her. I was surprised that I was already seeing +10 Valentine's Edelgards. It's like 3 days. Like, what are you doing? People just have orbs available, I guess, and it's gonna be summer Edelgard, winter Edelgard. It's gonna be more of the same. Absolute cinema. That's pretty much all you're gonna be seeing in your defense replays from now on. People trying to figure out how to get her up there. Which I guess works really well because, again, Barricade is so prevalent, which is, for me personally, not beneficial, since a lot of times my defenses are a bit open. But on a map like this, it would take you a few turns to smite her into position to be able to attack. People have been doing the hit and run strat with this Valentine's Edelgard. It works really, really well because she gets so many actions. I think she's the best at it. And if you were to partner her with someone like Tana, she could get even further back, which is just insane. I don't think I'm going to be using her on offense because, again, the barricades, the warp bubble, I just don't want to deal with it. It's a headache. Probably for the best that she doesn't have pass. Looking back at it now, that I was crying that she probably should have had pass. That would have been the thing that would have made her good. But I think if they gave her pass, they would have had to. They had to have nerfed some of her KO, her power, her killing capability. At least remove the special nullification. That could not have been there if she had pass. She would have been too broken. So I guess they did their best at balancing, air quotes, this version of Edelgard. But she is going to be a pain. Don't know what we're going to get on the next couple of banners that will help us to counter her. I actually don't even think we're going to get anything that's going to help us to counter her. Maybe some frontliners, but from what I've been seeing from testing and just looking at videos from Rocket Girl and stuff, most units don't survive. I want to say I was quite surprised that she was able to KO.
What now?
What's his face? Ooh, brave, tanky boy, Alphonse. Brave Alphonse. He was taking out Brave Alphonse like it was nothing. Which I guess, with proper support, he'd probably do a little bit more work in terms of just surviving the hits. But yeah. He was going down, and especially if he's not triggering his special, he's not really going to be surviving combats against her. That much I am pretty sure about. Ike, I was quite surprised that she just chewed. I did a couple of tests, and she consistently did 70 damage to Emblem Ike.
Time to make a profit.
Weapon Triangle. Hello? Yeah, consistently at least 70 damage to Emblem Ike, which is crazy. So that's not going to work. And I probably want to, again, point it out that Malice is the only unit other than Rhea that consistently KO'd Valentine's Edelgard. So if you didn't pull for Malice, I don't know what you're gonna do, man. Because even Desert Ike is getting dumped on. If not in the first combat, in the follow-up combat, he's going to get dunked on by this Valentine's Edelgard. So I really don't know what you guys are gonna do. But I mean, the Valentine's banner will be up for a while. Pull for Rhea. Highly recommend that you pull for Rhea. Find some way to get her some type of healing in combat so that she can survive. Find a way to get her to KO Valentine's Edelgard, which she can actually do, which I was very happy about, because I had no idea what else I was going to do aside from put a bunch of frontliners that could potentially survive, because she doesn't get the damage reduction nullification on every combat. It's just against the same opponent, so that's also a thing. But it would have really restricted the way that you go about building your defense if you had to lock yourself to that playstyle or that restriction. So yeah, pull for Rhea. Highly recommend pull for Rhea. If you haven't done it, go do it. You definitely need her. If you want to skip the AHR banner, I would recommend you skip the AHR banner. Pull for Rhea. You're gonna need it, or you're just gonna get destroyed by Edelgard for the next couple of months. I don't see her going anywhere anytime soon. Maybe with the next what do you want to call it, the next emblem unit. Maybe that's the miracle emblem unit. Maybe then we can start getting some traction, because that's the main thing that's keeping Rhea alive. Well, actually no, Rhea just survives because of bulk. But barring some type of miracle emblem ring, don't know what you're gonna get or what you're gonna do to survive this Edelgard. She is an absolute menace. Don't see anything countering her until maybe...
Leave it to us.
What's that banner with everyone evil? Fallen banner. Maybe we'll get a counter around the Fallen banner. We'll start to see some type of red taking a resurgence, or maybe green to counter green. Definitely not blue. If something blue comes out and can beat this Edelgard, it's gonna have to be absolutely insane. But yeah, got through this headache of a match. GG's to my opponent for making this absolutely dreadful to deal with, but GG's.